Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Imagine you've got a 9-year-old daughter. Imagine if a stranger was to put her in a room, turn on a video, and make your 9-year-old daughter watch a video of a boy get an erection, masturbate, and ejaculate. Would that person be guilty of grooming? Would that person be guilty of abuse? Would the person who's forcing your daughter to watch this sort of material be someone that you would be comfortable in leaving in charge of your daughter for 6-7 hours a day? No? Well, what if that person was a teacher and was showing your daughter this without your consent or knowledge? How would you feel? Would you think that that teacher was perhaps a groomer, was grooming children, was sexualizing children, was showing children that this is all very fine and we're going to introduce this stuff to you when you're 9? It's not acceptable, is it? Well, certainly that's what the father of the 9-year-old girl thought, and so he's pulled her from the school after being appalled at seeing what these teachers are showing children on a regular basis. They are grooming children so that those children can be prepared for whatever comes next. Basically, shh, our little secret, children. Please convince me that teachers are not all predatory perverts, pedos and ponces. They are all up to it, aren't they? Because you've either got the ones doing it or you've got the ones that aren't blowing the whistle, that aren't getting there and saying, actually, this is unacceptable. Because if they're accepting it, then they're part of the problem. Every teacher is a groomer. Let's look at this story. So a school will now review its material for its compulsory sex education lessons. So the child has got no option, is it? You've got no option but to let your child watch it. After a Christian father removed his 9-year-old daughter over fears the RSE classes were over-sexualising children. I think the word he's looking for is grooming children for those the teacher's own personal pleasure. Every single teacher in this country is a groomer. As I say, they're either doing this to the children or they're keeping their mouths firmly shut when it's happening to these children. And it is by good men doing nothing that ill deeds are done. And no teacher is coming out and blowing the whistle on this, and it is disgusting. Michael Doherty removed his daughter from Thurston Primary School. Teachers wanted to show her a video of a boy getting an erection and ejaculating. Right? It's just not suitable for a 9-year-old girl, is it? And if anyone's going to be talking about these things, it's got to be the parents. What gives these teachers the right to think that they can take children into a room and show them things? Mustn't tell your parents. We're going to show you this to 9-year-olds. If you did this, if it was anyone else in the street grabbing a child and saying, just sit down and watch this, they'd be in prison. Why are we not imprisoning teachers for grooming, for abuse? Because this is all this is. A school said it will review material used in its sex education classes after a Christian father removed his daughter in protest at the classes. Michael Doherty from Suffolk spent weeks fighting with teachers at Thurston Primary School to allow him to see what was intended to be taught to his 9-year-old daughter. So the school were trying to keep it away from the parents because the school knew full well if the parents knew what they were going to do to their children, they would be up in arms about it, and this guy rightly is. Who the hell do these teachers think they are? I tell you, they're all ponces, perverts and pedos. Every single one. Every teacher. Every one. There's not one that isn't, because not one ever stands up to say no. The 50-year-old was horrified to learn his daughter Sophia, who's in year 4, was set to be shown a BBC bite-sized video, the BBC, another bunch of ponces and pedos, filled with them, of a boy having a wet dream, getting an erection, ejaculating. The former aircraft engineer then tried to pull her out of lessons, but was told by the school he was not allowed to do so, and was only given permission following an intervention by the local authority, who was shit scared he was going to the press, but he went to the press anyway. Now the school has revealed it is reviewing its materials for the relationship education and relationships and sex education course. Well, we've already covered how schools are teaching children as young as 7, we've covered this in videos past, about self-pleasuring, front and back, about the fact that it is perfectly acceptable for anyone to find them attractive, regardless of how old that person is. This is what they're teaching 7-year-old children. And they're telling them not to tell their parents. Shh, our little secret. They're teaching them how to pleasure themselves and giving them homework where they have to come back in and write essays to hand to the teachers about what they did. The teachers are then sitting there and wanking off to this because every single teacher is a ponce, a predatory pedo and a pervert. Every single one. When you hear someone's a teacher, you just look at them and you know exactly what they are. When they're doing this to children, and not one of them is standing up to say it's wrong, so they're either doing it or they're going along with it. Every single teacher. It comes after the Mail Online revealed a wealth of questionable and sometimes graphic teaching material made for controversial RSE classes after they became compulsory 3 years ago. I tell you what, these peds have been sitting there grabbing their hands. Oh, I can't wait, give me hands on the children. 3 years ago, oh, we're great, we're going to sexualise these kids now. Dirty fuckers, aren't they? Secretive lessons, and this comes from Parliament, and you know they're all as bad and all. It's the whole establishment. The whole establishment is aiming to sexualise children because they're trying to normalise P. They're trying to absolutely normalise this sort of thing because they want children to be the objects of their desire. Secretive lesson plans showed school children are being taught about anal and orgasms before they've reached puberty. When Mr. Doherty asked to remove his daughter from the class on religious grounds, he was told he did not have the right to withdraw her because it is important that all children receive this content. I want to see them put this into a very highly Muslim school. I bet they don't. I bet they don't have the fucking balls to do that. They don't. They haven't got spine. But it's okay in a nice little white area. Oh yeah, it's fine there. We can just, because we do like the white children. They just slide on so nice, don't they? They're fucking perverts, every one of them. Anyway, the school told him they had consulted parents. No, they hadn't. I guarantee they hadn't. I bet they hadn't told the parents exactly what they were going to teach the children. Documents seen by the Mail Online reveal the primary school used the COVID pandemic as a reason they could not share specific teacher material with the parents. Yeah, they're using that as the excuse. The real reason is they didn't want to get strung up by their balls. A letter sent to Mr. Doherty by the head teacher also claimed the school followed the national curriculum for PSHE relationships. However, no such national curriculum exists. Liars. They are lying to the parents while they sexualise the parents, while they sexualise the children. Does that sound like anything other than a bunch of nonces? Does that sound like anything other than grooming pedos? Every single teacher. Remember that. They're all at it. Every one of them. He says, I feel as a parent they're quite hostile to me. Oh, God, yeah, of course they are. They don't want the parents getting involved. The parents might stop them having access to children. It's the last thing they want. He said, you treated me like some sort of prude, but I think you need to speak up. He's right. He said he objected to his daughter being shown a BBC bite-sized video showing a boy having a wet dream, getting an erection and ejaculating. After Mr. Doherty complained to the BBC, the video was removed from their website because it had been up there for so long and lots of kids had seen it and they've managed to sexualise a lot of children. Oh shit, we've been found out now. We better put it away because we don't want to look like the fucking ponces we are. We don't want to look like a bunch of peds, do we? Says the BBC with, Jimmy Savile, with, Rolf Harris, with, Stuart Hall, with, all the others. The BBC, biggest bunch of pedos in the country. After Mr. Doherty complained to the BBC, it was removed. Anyway, his daughter's RSE teacher denied the video was sexual in nature, which is quite clearly bollocks. and told him his daughter's year group was not taught sex education, which was also quite clearly bollocks, because they were about to show her, exactly what was on that video. It's ridiculous. They're lying. When you get people lying to parents, denying the truth, saying they're not doing things which they quite clearly are doing, asking pupils not to tell the parents what they're doing, you're very, very hard pushed to come to any other conclusion that every fucking teacher is a pedo in this country. Every single one. Name one that isn't. Name one that isn't. He said it's all very bizarre. It's the over-sexualisation of children, he said. This is Mr. Doherty. He said the headmaster of the CEO of the class's teacher all agreed the video was suitable for a 9-year-old to see. Only if you're trying to groom the 9-year-old into thinking that this is quite acceptable. And then, well, that's a little boy ejaculating. Now would you like to see a grown man do it? Come over here, Johnny. Come over here, Sarah. That's it. And if you touch it there, and we'll see how long it takes. That's these teachers. He said children are coming out of schools illiterate and they're doing this stuff. He says as a parent it just feels wrong. Oh, they don't want to put an education in their heads. I mean, that's the last thing they want to put in their heads. Literally, they've got other things that they want to put in their heads, and it ain't education. He says, I don't want to see my child seeing a vile, disgusting video that is being pushed into primary schools. I have been vindicated because even the BBC took the video off their site. He is quite right. He is very brave. I salute him. Well done for him. And let's expose every single teacher for what they are in this country. Every single one. Because none of them stand up and say no. And I'm finishing. I took a few minutes to calm down. It just gets me so angry. Why do these teachers think they can do it time and time again? And it's not as though this is the first time. I've done so many videos on this, time and again. Everyone, if you can educate your child at home, take your child out of school. And if you can't and you're forced to let your child go to school, go there and demand to see the material they're teaching. And if they refuse, you know that they're refusing because they're damn well embarrassed to show you. Because they know if they did show you, you would be angry. And that means that they are only one thing. Every single teacher. There is not one exception. Every single teacher is a paedophile. I'm stopping now. I'm coming out. Well, I'm done. So angry. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And do apologise for my anger. But sometimes I just get so angry about this. Till next time. Goodbye.